She went to that area. The agreement has been signed. I am the owner of these 3 kilometers. Now there will be no tax at all. Go and collect fish and sell it. Now the tax people, when they came to collect tax, they were all returned. Because this is my property, it's not anymore government property. Then the collector woke up. Oh, this is the reason why she purchased. And then collector was moved by the heart, the breadth of the vision of Rani Rashmani saw. He was very happy. He said, okay, this selling is a useless thing, but I will not collect taxes from the fisher folk. Then the collector agreed. So Rani Rashmani did a lot. So you find in Bengal, several places Rani Rashmani statue is there. Even in the Dakshineswar temple also, recently their statue has been put up. So you find a very inspiring lady, and she has been a great inspiring factor. And she came into contact with Sri Ramakrishna. And how this happened, Ramakrishna's brother, he wrote to Rani Rashmani that since the temple belongs to you, you are the owner, and you belong to lower caste, so the Brahmins are telling we will not do the puja. Why not you hand over the ownership of the temple to the deity itself? So there is a procedure that the temple deity becomes the owner of the property, not anymore she. So she gave away her ownership property with the title deed to Bhavatarini. Then Ramakrishna's brother told the Pandits, well, now this is no more owned by Rani Rashmani. It is owned by Mother Kali herself. What is the problem with you if I go and do the puja there? They said, okay, you go and do it. That's how he was appointed. So when he was appointed, his brother Ramakrishna, who was in Kamarpukur at the time, he was brought to Calcutta. As if the whole thing was made drama, getting ready. The stage was getting ready as if for Sri Ramakrishna to enter. And Sri Ramakrishna came and the inauguration was done by his brother. So that was the puja was done and whole lot of people came from Calcutta. So Rani Rashmani's Dakshineswar temple is really, it has become now a Shaktipeetha. There is a concept called, what is called Shaktipeetha. So there are 51 Shaktipeethas. That is, the center of Shakti or energy is available all over India, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Burma, Sri Lanka, all this put together in a wider Indian peninsula. If you see, there are 51 places. They have been designated Shaktipeetha. It is said that when Mother Sati came to attend the yajna of her father, Daksha, there is a Purana say, and she comes there without the permission of Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva says, I don't want you to go. But she said, my father is doing a very big yajna. Should I not go there? You will suffer there. Shiva advises her. But in spite of that, Sati comes. And she sees her father was dead against Lord Shiva. He doesn't give argya also to Lord Shiva. He doesn't give any food offering to Lord Shiva. And he is going on giving to Brahma, Vishnu and other devatas. So Sati got upset. Her husband has been dishonored at her own home. So she just jumped into the fire and she kills herself. And Shiva learns about that. One of the, Shiva has got 11 Rudras, Kalas they are called. The 11 Rudra Kalas are put together one Lord Shiva. So each Kala, that is each Rudra, can be used by Shiva for different purposes. So it is said that when he comes to some devotees, he comes in one Rudra. That one of the Rudras, that is the 11th Rudra, came into earth to see the Leela of Sri Vishnu in his Rama avatar. And that 11th Rudra is called Hanuman. So Hanuman is said to be the avatar of Lord Shiva. He comes as the 11th Rudra. That's why Hanuman Chalisa is recited 11 times. They say you must chant 11 times Hanuman Chalisa. So people chant 11 times that. So he's the 11th Rudra, representing the 11th Rudra. So one of the Rudras came and then he completely destroyed the Yajna Sthan, that Yajna place. And then he says, that he pushed the Sati's body onto his shoulder and Shiva started dancing. The Tandava. It's called that Tandava, that dance is danced by Shiva when he starts destroying this world, as per the Puranas. That dance is started. That means the whole universe will be destroyed. So all the devatas were perplexed and they went to Lord Vishnu and told him, please save us, save this world. Then Vishnu comes and aims her chakra, and the chakra goes and cuts Sati's body into 51 pieces. And one piece fell at one place. And wherever these pieces fell, those places became Shaktipeetha. So 51 Shaktipeethas are there. In Sanskrit mantras, you know what is called Bija mantras. The Bija mantras are also very interesting. There are total 51 Bija mantras are there, and 51 alphabets are there in Sanskrit language. So each alphabet has got made into a Bija mantra. So that each Bija mantra has been associated with each Shaktipeetha. And these Shaktipeethas are very powerful places. That's why even though a long in Puranic time this has been said, but the places which is called Shaktipeetha, if you go even today, you can find the presence of that energy, that spiritual vibration still. That's why in Calcutta you find Kali Ghat is one of the Shaktipeetha. Like that, different places you'll find Kamakya is one of the Shaktipeetha. Now, without Sati's part being fallen, there are some more places where the saints have stayed and worshipped the mother, and that place also has become Shaktipeetha. Equivalent to Shaktipeetha, I should say. So, not technically a Shaktipeetha as per the Puranas, but equivalent to that. And one of them is this Dakshineswar. Because Sri Ramakrishna came there, stayed there for 6 to 8 years, and he did all his sadhana in that Dakshineswar. And then he saw Mother Kali and he talked to her. He had so direct perception of Mother Kali. And so that place has become a Shaktipeetha. So this Shaktipeetha is very famous, and Sri Ramakrishna's trial and experiments, in spiritual life, all carried out in this place only. That's why Swami Ranganathanji used to call it the laboratory of spiritual thought, he says. If you need a laboratory to test some principles. So what is the laboratory for Ramakrishna? Dakshineswar was a laboratory. So Sri Ramakrishna experimented in many ways, and he found out certain important truths reflecting or echoing the Upanishadic thoughts. So that's why his teachings have become universal. So anybody can read this Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. Whether whatever path you follow doesn't matter at all. Because whatever path you follow, that path, that your attention to that path, your focus on that path will be strengthened if you get the idea from this Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. So Yam comes for the first time. Comes with his friend Sidhu. Sidhu and Yam are seated. Sri Ramakrishna himself says, sit down. And they are seated. There are two types of carts are there in Ramakrishna's room. Even till today, those two carts are maintained. One cart for sleeping and one cart for he's sitting and talking to the devotees. So Choto cart, they call it, smaller cart. In the smaller cart only, Sri Ramakrishna used to sit and then he would speak to the devotees. So that cart today he was sitting, and Yam and Sidhu were seated on the floor, and they were looking at him. What was the reaction of Yam? When you go into a place, first time you meet a holy man, what impression that holy man creates in you is very important. So when particularly Yam says, and Yam gives a beautiful description of his, he felt as if the Lord Chaitanya has come here, speaking to the devotees, the glory of God. And he also felt that if you, Lord Chaitanya was recent, but long back, the Puranic time, if you go, Yam remembers what he has read about Sukadeva, the great Rishi. Sukadeva, when he was speaking about Bhagavatam, about this Hari's glory, how all the monks and all the kings came together and they sat and they were listening to him. Like that, people were mesmerized. When Ramakrishna used to speak, people used to get mesmerized. And they would sit under him. Hours together he would speak, and only on God, about God, nothing else. So in the first meeting, though he asked him where he's from, why did he come here, etc., but Yam noticed that Ramakrishna was going into trance, going into ecstasy. It is called bhava. This bhava was not known to Yam at that time. Only later he understands what is bhava samadhi, what is bhava. This bhava is called ecstasy. In English, he translates it as ecstasy. So when the ecstasy comes, what happens is the outside world is gone from his consciousness. That means the person who reaches to the stage of bhava, he is dead to the outside world. He is not known to the outside world because all the five senses go back deep into it. In our spiritual and religious life, we find that this bhava is very important. It is not that only sadhus have this bhava. There are devotees also who reach to this bhava state. Of course, I have seen many devotees who are very sincere devotees, and while singing the name of Lord, they get that type of ecstasy. And first time he sees, oh, this is called bhava. He understands that. And then Sri Ramakrishna is speaking to the devotees. And certain things he says. He says the first thing that he learns from Sri Ramakrishna was, what is the time given in our life to perform the rituals? We are all taught from childhood certain rituals. We do the rituals, and should we go on performing the rituals forever? Or is there any time that the rituals stop themselves, or we have to leave the rituals? So what is the nature of mental development when you say that rituals are not needed for me? That is what he learns on that day, the first day. Sri Ramakrishna says, when you utter the name of the Lord, then tears fall from your eyes. Horripilation happens. Hairs stand on end. And you get into bhava. At that time, you don't require any rituals. But do we have that type of feelings when you take the name of the Lord? We also do bhajans, we also sing. And at that time, do we feel that type of feeling that tears come out from our eyes? Yes, there are people who get tears, who shed tears before sitting. In South Africa, I've seen, we have got a beautiful image, marble image of Sri Ramakrishna in the temple. And people used to come quietly and sit in the temple and meditate. And suddenly, I've gone into the temple and doing some cleaning work and look back and see that lady is crying. She's crying. She doesn't even know that she's crying outside because her eyes are closed and tears are falling. So that is the bhava. So you find that people get bhava when they emotionally surcharged and they feel the presence of the divine nearest to him. So they have that type of experience. So when you have the tears in your eyes, when you hear the name of the Lord, then the rituals are not needed. So stopping before reaching the stage of bhava, of performance of any rituals, is not good. That's what Sri Ramakrishna indicates. You must perform the rituals that has been given to you. Many times our gurus, when they initiate, they give certain rituals to the devotees. How much you must recite the mantra, how much you must count in your hands, in your palm, or in a mala. All those rituals they give you, and then how to purify yourself before sitting for the japa. And how do you close the japa? When you finish the japa, what are the closing ideas? You must bring it in your mind. So all these things are kind of rituals. But then all these rituals, you must have seen when we do puja, houses with the water. And these are rituals only. These rituals can go on and on and on till we are moved by the name of the Lord. So there is a time, there is a level when we reach that, then the rituals are no more needed. So what does that indicate here? See, Ramakrishna says, I do not need any such ritual. So that's why when after leaving the place, when Yam went to other places, the Kaliko temple, Radhakanta temple, Shiva temple, and when he came back, he's asking, perhaps it is your evening time, Sandhya worship. So are we disturbing you? Shall we go away? Like that he's asking. He said, no, sit, he says. So he is made to sit again. And he says he doesn't have that type of ritualistic worship. See, Ramakrishna never need to have. About Swami Vivekananda it is said, he also did not have the level to sit properly and do the ritualistic worship. Once Premananji was the manager of Belul Math, and he used to do the pujari. He was doing the puja one day. All the things are ready. The flowers are ready, chandan is ready, and then the leaves are ready. Everything is ready. Suddenly Swamiji enters. And Premananda says, Narayan has entered. Immediately he got up from his seat and allowed him to sit. And Swamiji went and sat in the pujari seat. No achamanam, no purification, nothing. Swamiji sat there, took the flowers with 2 hands and offered to Sri Ramakrishna and went into samadhi. He closed his eyes, that's all. His body became like a wood, not moving. So within seconds, Swamiji could attain that high state. For him, what rituals are needed? He doesn't need to purify himself. And Premananda saw that, and he reminiscence, he says, I was stunned to see Narayan sitting there and doing puja. And what puja? Nothing he could do. He only took the flowers with his 2 hands and offered to Sri Ramakrishna and went into samadhi. So there are situations when Ramakrishna used to do Kali Puja that he would forget the outside world. He took the flowers from the plate and put it on his head and is meditating on Mother Kali. And the temple people, the sevaks, they saw this and went and complained to Rani Rasmani. What type of pujari we have? The pujari doesn't offer the flower to Mother. Instead of that, he's putting on his head and he was sitting there hours together. The puja is not yet over. So they went and complained to her. See, they couldn't understand what was Ramakrishna's mood at that time. He had nothing, because he lost consciousness. He merged his mind with Mother Kali. So with the result that type of level, you don't need to perform any type of rituals. That is how so Ramakrishna explains. And then he says that by taking the name of God, he whose mind is moved to a level of bhava, he doesn't require any more rituals. And then Mayam meets him, then he goes back. Did he want to commit suicide after this? No. He never thought about suicide after this. That's all. The meeting with Sri Ramakrishna has ended all his problems. He started coming to Sri Ramakrishna again and again and again. And the notice that he left for us is called the Sri Ramakrishna Kathamrito, the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, a wonderful treasure trove that we have. So I would request you, please go through at least 1 page every day. Read. Whether you understand or not, don't think about that. Just read. You will see that the things are making it itself clear, because the clarity comes from the inner spirit, and the inner spirit is Sri Ramakrishna. He is living with all of us. As his devotees, we find that Sri Ramakrishna is within us, and he will illuminate our intellect. That is what we tell Gayatri Mantra, may your light illuminate my mind. That is what we pray. Tanno Prachodayat, we say. So that even in our motto, our Swamiji will prepare the logo. Underneath it is written, Tanno Hamsa Prachodayat. Prachodayat, may it illuminate. So may that our mind be illuminated by the words, because he is inside and he will illuminate. And suddenly you find a new meaning. Even after reading for about 45 years, I'm reading this book. And even today, I'm getting certain new flashes while reading. That means there are much more things unexplained to us, unknown to us. The knowledge is not perfect. So as you read, go on reading, you get flashes of light within. And that light is brought out by the inner light who is within us. So may us continue every week on every Sunday, 5:30 to 6:30, we shall hold this class. Om Niranjanam Nityam Anantarupam Bhaktanukampadrita Vigraham Vai Ishavataram Parameshamidhyam Tam Ramakrishnam Shirasa Namamaha. Hari Om Tat Sat. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.